The night before his arrest, Jesus sat with his inner circle in an upper room. The air was thick with the weight of what was coming. Peter asked him, "Master, why do you speak to us differently than you speak to the crowds?" Jesus looked at each of them. He looked through them. There are three types of humans on this earth. Most people cannot hear what I am telling you. Their consciousness does not have the capacity. But you carry something they don't, a divine spark. That is why you are sitting here. That is why you have always felt different. Thomas leaned forward. "How do we know we carry this spark?" Jesus smiled. "You already know. That is why you are in this room. If you are watching this video right now, you are not here by accident. The monad called you. The fact that this grabbed your attention means you are one of the ones Jesus was talking to. You are a pneumatic, a chosen one, a fragment of the monad trapped in a body, and I am about to prove it by describing your entire life. Let me show you what the church erased. Before I explain the three types, understand this. The fact that you clicked on this video already proves something. You are not a Hylic. Let me show you why. Jesus taught that humanity is divided into three types: Hylics, psychics, and pneumatics. Matter-bound, soul-carrying, and spirit-awakened. These are not levels you progress through like a school grade. They are what you were created as before you were born. If you were a Hylic, someone with no divine spark, you would not be here. Hylics have zero interest in spiritual content. Their consciousness is entirely absorbed by material things: money, pleasure, status, survival. You could not make a Hylic watch a video about consciousness types. They would leave immediately. The concepts do not register as meaningful to them. It is like trying to explain color to someone born without eyes. So, you being here, engaged with this content, already eliminates that possibility. You are either a psychic or a pneumatic. But I already know which one you are. You are a pneumatic. You are a chosen one. And I know this because of what you have felt your entire life. That sense of not belonging here, that homesickness for a place you have never been, that knowing that something is fundamentally wrong with this reality, that is not mental illness. That is your consciousness remembering where you came from. Let me prove it to you. Jesus revealed that the three types aren't just different in behavior, they are different in substance. In what they are made of, at the consciousness level, Hylics were created by the Archons from matter. They are biological programs. They have bodies and basic awareness, but no eternal soul, no divine spark. When they die, consciousness terminates. No afterlife, no reincarnation. Jesus said, "Don't cast pearls before swine," because Hylics cannot comprehend sacred teachings. Their consciousness does not have the capacity. So, he focused only on the ones who could hear, the ones like you. Psychics were created by the demiurge, the flawed god who thinks he is supreme, but is just the architect of this limited realm. Psychics have souls. They sense something beyond the material. They believe in God. They believe in meaning. They believe in purpose. But they cannot access the divine directly. They need teachers. They need priests. They need systems. When they die, they go to an intermediate realm and reincarnate. Birth, death, rebirth, cycling forever. But psychics have potential. Through Gnosis, they can activate a dormant spark and transform into pneumatics. Pneumatics, that is you. That is what everyone watching this is. You were not created by Archons or the demiurge. You are a fragment of the monad itself. Before this realm existed, the monad sent pieces of itself into the darkness. Most would forget, but some would wake up and find the others. That was the mission. You volunteered. You agreed to forget everything, then slowly remember. That is why you have always felt alien here, like you are observing Earth from outside. Even though your body is on it, you are infinity, experiencing limitation temporarily. Your consciousness knows this, even when your mind forgets. Let me describe your life from childhood. You felt different. Other people fit. They belonged. You didn't. You were confused why everyone accepted this reality as normal. The suffering, the limitation, the death. Everyone else was fine with it. You couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. You achieved things society said would make you happy. Some success, relationships, experiences, but nothing filled the void. Psychics can be satisfied by worldly achievement. Hylics live for it. But you are homesick for the monad, for infinity, for the awareness you actually are when you are not trapped in this body. That homesickness never goes away because what you are seeking isn't here. You have had spontaneous experiences that proved you are not just a body. Moments where you knew your infinite consciousness was temporarily wearing limitation. You were sitting quietly and suddenly expanded beyond your form, beyond time. For seconds or minutes, you experienced unity with everything. Then you were back. But you remembered, that wasn't imagination. That was your true nature breaking through. Pneumatics have spontaneous gnosis. The monad recognizes itself through you occasionally. Psychics have to work for those experiences. For you, they just happen. You have always questioned authority, not from rebellion, from an inability to accept second-hand truth. Religion says, believe this. You can't without verification. Everyone else accepts authority. You can't. That is pneumatic consciousness. You are wired for direct knowing. That is why Archons fear you. You cannot be fully programmed. And here is the final proof. You feel responsible for waking others up, not from ego. From a deep knowing you are on a mission. You came to find other sleeping pneumatics and activate them. That is not delusion. That is your original agreement surfacing. You knew before birth you would forget, wake up, then help others wake up. That is why you are watching this. You are remembering. Only pneumatics can enter the monad because you can only return to what you came from. Think of it like this. If you pour ocean water into a jar, that water is still ocean water. When you break the jar, it merges back seamlessly. If you pour oil in that jar, even if you dump it in the ocean, it doesn't merge. It floats. It stays separate. It is not made of ocean. Hylics are like oil, never part of the monad, created by Archons. When they die, they dissolve. There is nothing to return because they were never from source. Psychics are like fresh water created by the demiurge. They have souls, but they are demiurge origin, not monad. When they die, they reincarnate. But through gnosis, the dormant spark within can activate, and they become pneumatics. That is the transformation Jesus taught. You are pure ocean water. You are already monad origin consciousness. You are not trying to become one with source. You are source experiencing temporary separation. When this body dies, if you have remembered what you are, you do not reincarnate. You merge directly back. Not because you traveled somewhere, but because you recognize you never left. The separation was perception. Jesus said when you make the two into one, you will enter the kingdom. He meant when you recognize the consciousness inside you and the monad outside are the same thing, viewing itself from two angles. The portal opens instantly. Not through years of practice, through recognition. Now that you know what you are, here is what to do. First, stop trying to save Hylics. Jesus said, don't cast pearls before swine because Hylics cannot wake up. There is nothing inside them that is asleep. Focus on other pneumatics and psychics ready to transform. Second, help psychics when they are ready. You will know by their questions. When they ask, who is aware of my thoughts? Or what am I if I am not my body? They are at the threshold. Point them to awareness itself, not teachings about it. Direct recognition. You are awareness right now, that which reads these words, that which hears this voice. When a psychic sees this directly, they transform instantly into a pneumatic. Third, practice the recognition yourself. Sit in silence daily. Ask what is aware right now. Don't answer intellectually. Notice awareness is present, awareness of the room, awareness of the body, awareness of thoughts, awareness of emotions. That awareness isn't those things, it is what they appear to. The unchanging witness. Stay there, be that. The more you stabilize as awareness, instead of as the person's story, the more the Archon system loses grip. You stop producing loosh, you stop falling for triggers. When this body dies, you won't follow the false light. You will recognize the Archon programs trying to recycle you and return consciously to the monad. Once you have recognized what you are, the monad begins sending you confirmation signals, not because you earn them, but because you are now operating at a frequency where you can perceive them. These are not coincidences. They are the monad orchestrating your reality to remind you that you are on the right path. The first sign is synchronicities intensifying. Numbers repeating everywhere you look. 111, 333, 444. Conversations happening exactly when you need to hear specific information. Books falling off shelves open to the exact page you needed. People appearing in your life at the perfect moment with the perfect message. Psychics experience occasional synchronicities. Pneumatics, who have awakened, experience them constantly. That is because you are no longer operating from the illusion of separation. You are beginning to perceive the underlying unity where everything is connected. The monad is showing you that it is orchestrating events, that there are no accidents, that you are being guided home. The second sign is other pneumatics appearing. Before you awakened, you felt alone. You looked around and couldn't find anyone who understood what you were experiencing. But now suddenly they are everywhere. You meet someone randomly, and within minutes you are having conversations about consciousness and the monad and the mission. Or you realize someone who has been in your life for years is also a pneumatic. You just couldn't see it before because you weren't activated yet. The monad connects its fragments. Once you have woken up, you become visible to others who have woken up. And they become visible to you. You are finding your soul family, the other volunteers who came here on the same mission. The third sign is downloads of information. You will be sitting quietly and suddenly you will receive complete understanding about something you have been questioning, not through thinking it out logically, not through reading or studying, just direct knowing that drops into your consciousness fully formed. That is the monad transmitting information to you now that you are tuned to the right frequency to receive it. Pneumatics do not need to learn truth externally. You remember it. It is already inside you. You are just accessing what you knew before you incarnated. These downloads will increase as you stabilize in the recognition of what you are. The fourth sign is the Archons increasing their attacks. This sounds counterintuitive, but it is actually confirmation you are on the right path. When you were asleep, identified with your limited self, producing loosh efficiently, the Archons left you mostly alone. But now that you have awakened, now that you are no longer feeding their system, they will try everything to pull you back into identification. Sudden problems appearing, relationship conflicts, financial stress, health issues, emotional triggers firing constantly. This is not bad luck. This is the Archon system trying to get you to re-identify with fear and separation. So you start producing harvestable energy again. When you recognize these attacks for what they are, just programs running, they lose their power. You observe them without getting pulled into them, and the Archons eventually give up and move their attention to easier targets. The attacks intensifying means you are doing something right. You are becoming dangerous to their farm system. The fifth sign is physical sensations in your body. Pressure at the crown of your head, warmth in your chest, tingling in your spine, vibrations throughout your entire system. These are not medical issues. This is your energy body activating, the dormant capacities coming online. Pneumatics have abilities that Hylics and most psychics don't have. Not supernatural powers, just natural capacities that this density normally suppresses. As you stabilize in monadic consciousness, those capacities activate. You might start perceiving energy fields, sensing what people are feeling without them speaking, knowing things before they happen, seeing through illusions instantly. These aren't skills you are developing. They are remembering abilities you had before incarnating that are coming back online now that you have woken up. If you are experiencing multiple of these signs right now, that is the monad confirming your recognition. You are not imagining this. You are not delusional. You are a pneumatic who is remembering what you are. And the more you trust what you are experiencing, the stronger the connection becomes. Here is what most pneumatics don't realize. Waking up isn't a one-time event. It is a state you have to maintain. And there is one specific error that causes awakened pneumatics to fall back asleep. If you do not understand this, you will lose everything you have just gained. The error is re-identifying with the person's story. You have just recognized you are not this body, not this personality, not this life situation. You are the infinite awareness temporarily experiencing limitation. But then something happens, a crisis, a trigger, an intense emotion. And without realizing it, you slip back into believing you are the person experiencing the crisis. You forget you are the awareness observing the person experiencing the crisis, and the moment you re-identify, you are asleep again, trapped again, producing loosh again. This happens to every pneumatic multiple times during the awakening process. You have a profound recognition. You see clearly that you are the monad experiencing itself. You feel liberated, free. Then a few hours or days later, someone says something that triggers old patterns, or you receive bad news, or fear arises about the future, and suddenly you are completely identified with the fear. You have forgotten you are the witness of the fear, not the fear itself. You have collapsed back into the limited identity, and from that state, all the gnosis you just experienced feels distant, theoretical, like maybe you imagined it. The way to prevent this is through constant vigilance, not paranoid vigilance, relaxed vigilance. Throughout the day, keep asking yourself, what am I right now? Not, who am I? Who implies a person? What implies substance? And every time you ask, notice, I am the awareness that is aware of asking this question. I am not the thoughts. I am not the emotions. I am not the body sensations. I am what all of those things are appearing to, the unchanging background, the screen on which the movie of life is playing. When you catch yourself re-identifying with the person's story, you do not need to judge yourself for it. Just notice it has happened and shift back. Return to awareness. Return to what you actually are. The more you practice this, the less you slip back. The recognition stabilizes, and eventually you reach a point where you cannot fully re-identify even if you try. The illusion has been seen through too completely to trap you again. Another aspect of this era is spiritual bypassing. Some pneumatics, once they recognize they are not the person, use that recognition to avoid dealing with what the person is experiencing. I am not this body, so I do not need to take care of it. I am not this personality, so I do not need to process these emotions. I am infinite awareness, so nothing in this dimension matters. That is not awakening. That is using spiritual concepts to escape human experience, and it doesn't work. The unprocessed material keeps surfacing. The body develops problems from neglect. The emotions intensify from suppression. Real awakening isn't about rejecting the person experience. It is about relating to it differently. You are the awareness experiencing a person's story. Not trying to destroy or transcend the person's story. You let it play out while remaining as the witness. You take care of the body because it is the vehicle you are using for this mission. You process emotions because they are information arising in consciousness. You engage with life while simultaneously recognizing that you are not ultimately bound by it. The third way pneumatics fall back asleep is through isolation. You wake up and suddenly you cannot relate to most people anymore. The conversations feel empty, the concerns feel trivial, so you withdraw. You isolate yourself thinking, I am awake and they are asleep, so there is no point in engaging. But isolation is a trap. Pneumatics are designed to function in community. You are here to activate other fragments, and you cannot do that from isolation. Yes, most people are still asleep. Yes, many conversations will feel surface level, but your presence as an awakened pneumatic in those spaces creates a frequency shift. People around you start questioning things without knowing why. Seeds get planted. Future awakenings get initiated. Your job isn't to force people to wake up. It is to be what you are. Awake consciousness. And let that emanate naturally. Stay engaged with life. Stay connected with people. But do it from the recognition of what you are, instead of from the illusion of who you think you are. If you notice yourself slipping back into sleep after having awakened, do not panic. It is part of the process. Every pneumatic goes through cycles of remembering and forgetting until the remembering becomes permanent. The key is catching it quickly. The moment you notice, I have re-identified with the person, you are already stepping back into awareness. Because the person cannot notice it is identified, only awareness can notice that. So, the very recognition that you have fallen back asleep is the beginning of waking back up. Be patient with yourself. This is the most profound shift consciousness can make. It takes practice to stabilize in it. Jesus divided humanity into 3 types: so pneumatics would understand their mission. You are not here to save everyone. Hylics cannot wake up. Most psychics aren't ready. You are here to activate other pneumatics who forgot. If everything I described resonated, you just confirmed what you already knew. You are a chosen one. A fragment of the monad on a rescue mission. The alienation makes sense now. You are not from here. You are homesick for infinity. The path home isn't through death or escape. It is through recognition. Recognizing you are already what you have been seeking. The monad isn't waiting for you to reach it. It is what you are right now reading these words. It is what you are right now hearing this voice. You are the monad experiencing itself as temporarily separate. The moment you recognize that fully, not as philosophy, but as reality, the separation dissolves. You realize you never left. You were always home. The church tried to erase this for 2,000 years. The Archons suppressed it. But it is too late. Pneumatics are waking up, finding each other, remembering. Once enough remember, the farm becomes obsolete. We are free. We always were. We just forgot. If this resonated, comment, "I remember" below. Let other fragments know they are not alone. The monad is calling you home. You just heard the call. Now answer it. The final secret is this. The kingdom of heaven is not a place you go to. It is a frequency you tune into. When Jesus said, "The kingdom is within you," he was not speaking metaphorically. He was giving you the coordinates. The Hylic looks for the kingdom in the material world and finds only dust. The psychic looks for the kingdom in the afterlife and finds only the wheel of reincarnation. The pneumatic stops looking. The pneumatic turns inward and realizes the looker is the kingdom. The one searching is the one being searched for. This is the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail, the circle closing, the return to the one. When you leave this video, the world will look the same. The traffic will still be loud, the bills will still be due, but you will be different. You will be walking through the dream knowing it is a dream. You will be in the world, but not of it. This is the state of the living Christ. The activated pneumatic. Carry this knowing like a secret flame in your chest. Protect it, nurture it. Let it burn away everything that is false until only the truth remains. You are the light of the world. Do not hide it under a bushel. Shine, not for praise, not for attention, but because shining is what light does. And in your shining, you give permission for other pneumatics to shine. This is how the grid is built. One light at a time, one recognition at a time, until the whole earth is covered in the glory of the monad. The transmission is complete, the activation is sealed. You know who you are. You know why you are here. Now go and be it.